So Lucas, who's your favourite edgy character from the video game?
You know who it is, Karl.
Is it Dark Pit?
It's Dark Pit, of course it is.
All right. Okay, so Lucas, as per usual, would you like to tell the lovely folks at home what today's Wikipedia Weekends is about?
We are talking about the famous, the infamous Shadow the Hedgehog game.
Well, I think you got that wrong. Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh, yeah.
We are discussing Edgy the Hedgy himself, specifically his self-titled video game, and we'll be referring to the Wikipedia page on that game, which is titled simply Shadow the Hedgehog video game. Would you like to hear some background information on it, Lucas?
Let's go for it.
So we're all on the same page, which is the one on my screen right now, which is Shadow the Hedgehog, I'm only pronouncing it that way, is a 2005 platform game developed by Sega Studios. Stay winning, Sega. The former United States division of Sonic Team and published by Sega. And I love that all the Sonic games are made by Sonic Team, but one of my favourite ever running gags in like a playthrough is when the best friends play through Shadow the Hedgehog and keep referring to it as Shadow Team. And that playthrough is legendary, and I implore people to go look it up because, and I shit you not, the game crashes on the credits.
Oh no.
Midway through where they're all going, a bold effort by Shadow Team, an amazing game, and the game crashes. What an amazing game! Anyway, the clip will be in now. That's like one of my favourite bits ever because the bit they have throughout the video is, I think it's Liam and Wooly, like just basically proper hyping up how good the game is to piss off Matt. And he's like, no, stop trying to get hype. It's not hype, it's Shadow. And then the game crashes on the credits as if the game itself is trying to commit suicide.
Oh, God.
Which reminds me of our favourite ever Smash Bros moment. So, Lucas, at the beginning, you said your favourite edgy character is Dark Pit.
Yes, he is.
Would you like to explain to the audience why that is? Because this fucking happened. I confirm I was there, and I nearly died.
So when Super Smash Bros. Ultimate came out,
Yes.
I
glorious
had,
time.
you know, you and another friend round to come and play the game, enjoy the game as it is, and, you know, over time you have to unlock all of the characters.
And you have to beat them in a fight. If you beat them, they join your team. If they beat you, they don't. And I think there was a huge thing about when the game first came out, the AI's too good. And the AI was like dunking people and they weren't getting like Captain Falcon and stuff like that.
And there was quite a few times when, over the day, we got dunked on by AI and lost.
That character, yeah.
Didn't unlock that character.
But that changed when Dark Pit entered the fray because we all jokingly said, as it said, a new challenger arrives, Dark Pit. And we all said in our drunken states, oh, Lucas, jump off the edge so Dark Pit will never be on your roster screen, so we never have to pick him because we don't like that character. And Lucas, what happened when the match started?
So the match started, and immediately before I could move, Dark Pit runs off the edge and dies.
And puts himself into the game.
He forced us to unlock himself.
And this is the best bit, because Lucas, you own 2 copies of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, correct?
I do, yeah. I have
4
2 different
reasons.
switches. Yeah.
What happened the next time you unlocked Dark Pit?
The exact same thing. He just walked off the edge again.
That's like me on my copy of Fighter Z, where I spent more money buying the DLC separately, so I don't have Bardock in my game. Anyway, the game follows Shadow the Hedgehog, a creation of Dr. Eggman's grandfather, Professor Gerald Robotnik. I did not know that.
Karl, let's not get into Sonic lore.
Dr. Gerald Robotnik. Do you know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of Star Fox, which sent us on the adventures of one Fox McCloud, an anthropomorphic fox creature who like flies in a spaceship, calls it the Great Fox.
Yes.
What's his dad called?
James.
He called his son Fox, and he's a fox.
And like, you know, all of the other characters, you know, Falco's a bit on the nose, but you're like Slippy the frog and Peppy the hare. No, Fox the fox.
Yeah, Fox the fox. Like that's like calling your son a son. Fucking hell. Anyway, so Shadow the Hedgehog introduces third-person shooter elements and non-linear gameplay. Non-linear is fucking correct. Because obviously, this game's all over the place. To the Sonic franchise. To defeat enemies, Shadow can use a variety of weapons and special attacks.
And what kind of weapons, Karl?
Oh, he uses guns. Just Shadow's got a gun. That's why I think this game is so amazing. It's like, it's such a misstep and such just a misunderstanding of what the Sonic fandom wanted, where it is everything that people thought was cool when they're 14 years old.
Exactly. Let's give him a motorcycle and a gun.
Yeah. Well, I think he actually rides a lowrider in one of it.
He does, yeah.
And then like he cocks a machine gun like a shotgun.
That's how machine guns work, Karl.
Yeah, because obviously cocking the shotgun's a cool thing to do. And we have an entire video discussing the idea of edgelords at length. So we won't like retread that ground too much. But like The way I have always interpreted the term edge is when it's trying too hard.
Oh, yeah.
Like Sephiroth, he's edgy, but the character kind of gets away because he has a very simple, clean design.
He does, yeah.
Contrast that with Cloud from Advent Children.
Oh, God,
Where now, instead of wearing his classic, iconic outfit, he's wearing all black, he's got the leather trench coat on, he's got the sword that splits into 7 other swords. Trying too hard.
And then let's take it to Kingdom Hearts level, where there's just belt buckles everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
Everyone's got to have belt buckles. I don't know how many belts they have.
And he's got like bandages wrapped around his sword, he's got the one wing. It's like, yeah, it's over-design is the way I've always done it. And I think Shadow the Hedgehog is like, it's the perfect encapsulation of it, where Sonic is such a perfect design for a mascot character.
Yeah.
It's like, no, let's make it black. But it can't just be black, it has to have red accents on it.
Of course it does.
And then he has to have a gun, and then he's got to have a motorcycle, and then he's got to not care about anybody, and he's got to have a robot, and then he's got to meet his mate Gerald. It's so bad. And the final bit is, Shadow the Hedgehog received, and would you like to guess what the next word is in regards to the reviews?
Is it negative reception?
Generally unfavourable.
Oh, God,
which
no.
I think is being diplomatic, but there we go. So, apparently, though, the game was a commercial success, selling 2.6 million copies.
The Edge, Karl, it speaks to us.
It is the Edge. We were all 14 once. We all loved it. Like, we all, at one point, went on that character select screen and painted all of our clothes black with the red accents on. Because
And I still do.
Because we thought it looked cool. It's like when I play Fighters online and someone makes their team, it's just 3 black outfits. It's like, really? Like 16 fucking colours to pick from, and you pick all black.
And don't worry, I'll just pick all bright pink.
Yeah, damn right. The Pride Troopers are rocking up. So, I don't get this. This must be a mistake, because there's a section that says gameplay. This is a Sonic game we're talking about. So anyway, let's find out where it's going. Shadow the Hedgehog is a platform game that incorporates elements of action-adventure. I think you should put that as theoretically a platform game, because platforming in that game is a nightmare. Have you played it?
Oh, I've played it.
Like the homing dash that makes you home off the edge.
Yeah.
And just kills you instantly.
3D Sonic games.
So bad. Like previous games in the Sonic series, basic gameplay revolves around running quickly, collecting rings, and destroying enemies. What they're not adding there is that every element of the game design stops you from doing all 3 of those things.
Yeah, and then you've just got guns anyway.
Yeah, I love that though as well. It's like they should add the little addendum that says, also you've got guns. Shadow collects rings as a form of health. When he is attacked by an enemy, 10 of his rings bounce away from him in all directions. If he's hit by an enemy while not having any rings, he loses a life. Yeah? Fairly standard Sonic stuff.
Yeah,
right?
it's pretty standard.
Do you think, though, Sonic started to decline when you didn't lose all your rings when you got hit and you just lost 10?
I don't know how it works.
I liked when you lost all the rings and you had to do the mad dash. Oh no, and you got to collect as many as you can.
Because that doesn't sound right to me that you lose. I thought you still lost all your coins.
No, you lose 10 in
And
this.
Maybe, I don't know if it means you lose 10 or
you lose 10 at a time.
Drop 10.
According to this, you drop 10. No, you drop 10, you can pick a few back up.
I'm trying to remember, but if that's the case, you need to go back to just 0.
Yeah, but I liked it when you had 70 rings and you drop it and oh god, I better get as many as I can. And you just do the mad dash. Anyway, that's my opinion. I don't like Sonic games anyway, so fuck it, why would you listen to me? Each level is completed by undertaking a mission, and each mission is labelled Hero, Dark, or Normal. Surely Dark should be normal for Shadow. He's called Shadow, for fuck's sake.
You know what? It should have been Hero, Dark, and Edge.
Just edgiest. Fucking Edgy the Hedgy, man. The hero missions involve completing tasks for the Sonic series. I don't care. I don't care.
You know what, Karl? Fuck it, let's get to a bit you care about.
This goes on for so long. The only interesting bit is this bit, which I think is actually kind of impressive. Each level features cutscenes that advance the story, and several levels also feature boss battles. There are 326 possible paths to take in Shadow the Hedgehog, and each pathway is individually named. So there are 326 different endings in this game, depending on what combination of hero, dark, and normal you decide to choose.
The worst part is, you won't even want to play through the game once.
Yeah.
You won't want to do it.
So we've got that though, but new gameplay features distinguish Shadow from previous Sonic games. For example, Shadow can use guns to combat enemies. So what do you think? I just remember that very first cutscene, it's just Shadow's got a gun. And it's like... Could this be a more obvious and desperate attempt to shy away from, the cutesy kid image of Sonic?
Yep.
Because I forget who I saw sum it up, but it's this great breakdown of why Sonic is so fucking lame. Because Sonic is an answer to Mario, and it's trying to be cool. The thing about being cool, though, is being cool is you've got to be counter to what is currently relevant. But what's currently relevant when the thing's released will not always be the thing that you're rebelling against.
Well, yeah, because it's very much a product of its times. Sonic was 90s, like the Attitude Era.
Yeah, like
that's what Sonic was.
Yeah, and that's what you have, and that's why it's dated so heavily, and why it's like it just seems so bad and desperate now.
And then you jump into the noughties where that's not the case. So Shadow had to come along to try and take the mantle.
Yeah, and it has to. And obviously, what was cool back then isn't cool anymore, so it just comes across as trying too hard. Whereas Mario is timeless. Because Mario is not trying, it's not a response to anything, it's just its own thing.
Exactly.
Because and I just think that was a really good way of breaking it down. The reason Sonic is so lame and why he's like got such a fragmented fan base is because he's constantly changing what he's about. Like, he has no set message. Like, Sonic has no set dogma. He has no beliefs.
Well, look at,
He's a man without a mission.
Sonic Boom Sonic has got to have like the cool scarf going on.
That was my favourite thing. I remember it's one of the best things Dorkly ever did, where it's, Sonic in 20 years' time. It's got the giant spider legs. Just like, that's coming in. The year of the scarf, man. The year of the fucking scarf. Oh, he's got to have a Nathan Drake scarf.
Yeah.
And they even start spiking his spikes back a little bit, so he's got a little quaff. He's got the Nathan Drake quaff.
Yeah.
And again, it just comes across as desperate and pathetic. It's this desperate grasping for relevancy because you don't know what the character's supposed to be because you've never had a set personality or definition of what he is. But you know what, Mario? He's a fucking plumber who plays tennis on the weekend. And we can all get behind that because we all respect a guy who just really enjoys his free time.
Mario has so much free time.
He does so much.
Like, the amount of sports he gets on.
So I'm still all up for like taking away Sonic's like legendary iconic gaming status and removing him from Smash until he has 3 good games in a row. Anyway, that's a discussion for another day. So, oh my god, the game has a 2-player mode. Who do you play as? Dark Shadow. No, wait, it says here, you play as a palette swapped version of Shadow. That's metallic.
Of course you do.
So you play as Robo Shadow.
And that's the amount of effort that they put into
Like, do you care about the synopsis? Because the synopsis, I clicked it, and the little bit of the bar at the bottom, that shows you how long it is, went like this and shrank considerably.
Oh, no.
So I don't give a fuck. So I'm guessing a Sonic fan came in and wrote every possible permutation of the ending. So
you know what? There's an alien that comes from space and shit happens.
so we've got 2 sections we go to, Lucas. Development or reception.
Let's go to reception.
It's got to be okay. So let's just go through let's go hard numbers because numbers don't lie. So Metacritic gives the game on GameCube a 51 out of 100. On Xbox it got 49 out of 100, and on PS2 45 out of 100. So the GameCube version is the definitive way to experience Shadow. Apparently, that is like the way.
The most definitive way to do it is a 51 out of 100.
And then the best thing you always do is you look for who the people who gave it the high reviews. So. No.
Who got bought out that week?
OXM UK gave it 7 out of 10.
That's the best.
That I can see, yes. No, wait, sorry.
Okay.
Game Trailers gave it 8.3 out of 10. And Nintendo Power gave it 8 out of 10. So I want to now look at what other games have got an 8 out of 10 so you can compare. So can you do a little bit of research on that and just find another game from that era that got an 8 out of 10 from one of the publications?
Okay, yeah.
And just put like a little fact bar below so we know how good they think Shadow the Hedgehog is in comparison.
When it turns out it's like, Metroid Prime got like the same score as Shadow the Hedgehog.
So, Shadow the Hedgehog received generally unfavourable reviews from critics, many of which were highly critical of its gameplay mechanics and differences from other Sonic games. And there are about 16 fucking hyperlinks after I had to click, so you can go see how true that statement is. However, it was voted the best game of 2005.
By who?
By Official Jetix magazine in their Reader Awards. And it was named the best platformer of 2005 by Nintendo Power in their Reader's Choice Awards.
I was going to say, the thing that points
it's the
true to this, the Reader Choice.
But I just want, again, Lucas, just go look at what other games came out in 2005 and just put a few of them below us so people know what those fans thought Shadow was better than. Because I'm pretty sure that year you might have got a Final Fantasy X or something drop in.
You've got some good games, I know that.
If it's the PS2 era, there's bound to be at least one good game.
Yes.
From that era, that apparently Shadow was better than.
But Karl, the Edge. The Edge wins out.
You can't compete with the Edge. The Edge is unstoppable. Oh my god. Shadow the Hedgehog was also a commercial success. Sega reported that 1.59 million units were sold in the year of release. Oof. And 470,000 units sold in the US from March 2006 to 2007 for total sales of at least 2.6 million. I would point out, though, that part of these sales is because it was released as part of the budget lines, greatest hits, and platinum range for the PS2. So basically, they released like the shit budget. It's like Anthem's sales are probably really fucking good because you can buy it for a £5.
Yeah.
Did you see they took the Christmas decorations down finally?
Oh, really?
We're nearly in the third month of like 2020. They took down the Christmas decorations.
Oh, man.
Don't worry, Anthem. I anticipate a video where you feature prominently. So, many critics derided the game's sense of maturity for a Sonic game, especially the addition of guns and other weapons. Staff writer for Game Informer, Matt Hagelson, said, not only is this new adult interpretation, adults like in big air quotes, painfully dumb, it's also ill-advised and almost feels like a betrayal to long-time fans.
8.3. What?
8.3 out of 10. Eurogamer staff writer Tom Bramwell felt that the game's other selling point, its darker edge, is not really meant for us. GameSpy writer Patrick Klepek thought similarly. In contrast, Nintendo Power staff writer, who gave it an 8 out of 10, remember, said this darker take on the Sonic universe succeeds, for the most part, giving the series a bit of an edge without going overboard on violence. Smash cut to the opening cutscene where Shadow executes a man in cold blood with a gun.
You can literally run around and just kill the humans in that game.
You can go around and just watch people die, or like just homing dash them off the edge of a building while shooting every gun in the world. Like you can rainstorm a civilian. In addition, official Xbox magazine reassured readers, don't worry, Shadow the Hedgehog isn't, and I quote here, half as urban or as gangster as it first seems. Like, like that reminds me of the moment in video games that made me feel the most uncomfortable. And it's the very first season of The Walking Dead, when it's you, the character Lee, a black man, and you're figuring out like, oh, how do we get into this place? And your guy in your team, Kenny, just goes, well, surely you can figure it out, can't you? It's like, what do you mean? It's like, you can pick that lock. You're urban. And it's like, Lee's like a college professor who teaches history.
Yeah.
Like, what? What is it? Oh, God. So, yeah, official Xbox magazine leaning into that edge, I can see. The game was also planned for its laughable plot that makes no sense, and that the various Sonic conventions are undermining its attempts to be mature or edgy, which are probably the words official Xbox magazine should use rather than urban and gangster.
Oh, God, it is so bad.
You can just say it. You can say the words you're trying to think of. You thought the game was trying to be black. Shadow is a black hedgehog.
He is.
And I think, like, if I was black, I'd be so offended by that. So we don't want Shadow.
Yeah, get him out.
Shadow's not black.
Just bring back Sonic.
But I love that thing, though, where there's certain characters who are just like, even though they're not technically black, everyone agrees, no, they're black. Like Piccolo. I remember, I think it was, I think last year during Black History Month, there's like shout outs to like strong black anime dads, and it's just Piccolo. So yeah. Reviewers also criticised the game's controls, especially Shadow's homing attack causing unexpected character deaths.
One of the main mechanics of the game.
And it just makes you just fly off the edge. Other complaints focused on mechanics, weapons, and vehicles. Greg Mueller of GameSpot felt the guns were nearly useless because of the lack of a target lock on manual aim. So you've got guns that you can't aim.
You just have to literally point them in a line and hope for the best.
In contrast, that writer I mentioned earlier from Nintendo Power says, blasting Shadow's foes with a wide variety of weapons at its disposal is just plain fun. I think that just highlights like how important it is to teach media literacy at school. That you have, I think it's objective, like how bad Shadow is, just on a mechanical level.
It's true, yeah.
Yeah, and then you've got this guy going, it's really fun to shoot the gun. So it's not, it doesn't feel good. Like the game just doesn't feel good to play. It's like, but I like shooting the enemies with my guns.
Maybe also just vet your staff a little bit.
Right, do you know what that reminds me of? It is the web swinging in like Amazing Spider-Man.
Okay.
It's like, do you know the web swinging in Spider-Man 2?
Yes,
It's the best web swing that's ever been in a Spider-Man game.
Until Spider-Man PS4.
Yes, and like every single time a new Spider-Man game came out, they always ask the same question, does it have good web swinging? No. It has, like, Spider-Man attaches to a blimp flying through the sky.
Yeah.
And it's terrible and it's awful. And I had a chance to interview the guy who was solely responsible for that mechanic for an job I had. And he told me, I've been trying to put that mechanic in Spider-Man since the PS1 days, and I had it working, but every time we handed it to playtesters, they couldn't make Spider-Man swing by pressing one button, so told us to take it out.
Oh, no.
So because they were idiots and because you didn't press a button and something cool happens immediately, they didn't like it.
It's almost like sometimes it's really satisfying to work towards
a goal and
progress.
Yeah. But he said that's why they took it out, because obviously immediate reactions to it from reviewers and people like that were, well, it's difficult to do straight away, and I don't feel like Spider-Man. But you will when you get good at it.
Yeah, oh
it's like
God,
fighting games where I think like Mortal Kombat always does really well. Like initially, it's like mechanically it's a lot better and has more depth now, but because it's got the cool moves,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, it's more visually impressive, but the technical depth isn't on par with like other games. But obviously,
It's really fun to like throw a spear at somebody.
It just reminds me of that, of, yeah, it feels good to shoot the gun. I don't care how bad it is on mechanical, I just feel cool as this hedgehog. Yeah. And then we just have a load of shitting on the level design and the replay value, which is criticised as being almost non-existent, despite the multitude of paths it's possible to take through the game. Because you can burn through Shadow the Hedgehog in about half an hour if you just beeline straight for the ending at every level. Because you can ignore every single enemy and not fight them. And it's actually easy to do that, because if you try and fight them, you fly off the edge.
Oh God, it's so bad.
Which is weird, because you think Shadow will be right on that edge.